looking to change your wheelchair from manual to power, or whether you are in the market for a brand new wheelchair, you've never had a wheelchair before, and you want to know what skills do you need to have to be able to handle the manual or the power, uh, this is the video for you. So let's get started. My name is Lisa, and I am a power wheelchair user. So there are some things with the manual wheelchair I will not be able to show you. But I did start with manual wheelchairs, but obviously I don't have one now. This is just the power wheelchair. So I go through from A to Z on wheelchairs, so I'm glad you found us. I'm hoping this channel can be your home, and you can come here whenever you have questions or doubts. So we'll give you some encouragement. But anyway, let's get back to the list of skills that you would need for one wheelchair or the other. So we're going to start with manual wheelchairs. Of course, you need the pushing efficiency, which you want to get that one down first, because you don't want to, you don't want to ruin your shoulders, and you want to keep those wrists healthy and your hands healthy. So we'll talk about, pushing, whether you're going to use gloves or not. But to make sure you're pushing that manual wheelchair correctly so you save your shoulders. You need to know how to brake, and that especially not so much stopping, but slowing yourself down with your hands on the hand rims. So you need to practice that. Turning and maneuvering, so, turning and maneuvering so that you can get out of tight spots or just turning around in another direction. So you need to master that one. Curve and ramp skills. So getting off of a curb, getting onto a curb. Ramp skills, how to go up a ramp and not fall backwards or fall forward. So ramps are important to learn in a manual wheelchair how to handle them. Transferring, moving safely from your chair to bed, car, couch, and other objects without pulling a muscle. Knowing when in the moment is that you can transfer, and knowing that you have to have one hand where you're going and one hand where you are, and not transferring until you feel ready. So no rushing it. Manual users sometimes need to learn wheelies. So that's the Papa wheelie. And that takes some practice. So you probably want to practice with someone else so you don't go backwards and injure yourself. So that takes a little bit. And that is an important skill, very important. You say, nah, I'll just use, the curb cuts. But sometimes there isn't a curb cut, and you really need to get on that sidewalk. So, it's not for show. The Papa wheelie is not for a show, but for getting down curbs or over obstacles that you might encounter. So, yep, Papa wheelie is a real thing. And you'll need it at some point. All right, so we're going to go. Those are the basic skills for manual wheelchairs. Now we're going to talk about power wheelchairs. For power wheelchairs, these babies have a joystick, and you might think, well, a joystick. Everybody can handle a joystick. Well, you're going to see in a moment with this list that it's not just about a joystick. It's about buttons sometimes, even fancy tilt or recline features, but you still need skills to handle all these gadgets on your wheelchair. So trust me on that one. Even though I have a simple power wheelchair, you're going to need it if you have a complex power wheelchair. We'll talk about the two different kinds once I get through the list. Joystick control is, smooth and steady, not bumper cars, okay? So you don't want to go crashing against walls or people. Speed control, knowing when to cruise and when to slow down. Turning in tight spaces, that's a really important one. I can't tell you how important, because sometimes you might get yourself into a tight space and you need to get out and you're stuck. So your turning radius matters in elevators, in small kitchens, around tables, chairs, people. So turning, really important. Battery management. So with the manual wheelchair, you don't have batteries, but with the power wheelchair, you do. And you need to leave yourself a note on your pillow that says, don't go to bed until I plug in my power wheelchair. Every night, it needs to charge. So the art of not running out of juice halfway through the target. So really, you need to make sure that you've charged it so you don't have to worry about it all day long and can go out and go wherever you need to go, but without running out of juice. That's a skill. Learning your chair's features. Not all power wheelchairs are made the same. So there are simple power wheelchairs like mine. It just has a joystick, just goes backward, forward, goes around in circles. That's all it does. But there are another class of power wheelchairs called complex power wheelchairs, and those have different buttons for different things. So it's tilt, recline, seat lift. So they're not just cool. Okay, they help you with independence and pressure relief. So there will be wheelchairs that have more buttons and more gadgets on them, and those you need to get into the practice of knowing which one is which, or for the caregiver to know which one is which. So just like the drivers of a Tesla, sometimes you got to know a little troubleshooting when your chair decides to be moody. Now, both of these wheelchairs, the manual wheelchair and the power wheelchair, they both require some maintenance. So it'll be up to you if you have a manual wheelchair, if you're going to learn how to maintain the manual wheelchair, keep it clean, keep the wheels clean, change the bearings and all that kind of stuff. If you're not able to do that, or you feel like you don't want to deal with that, you can find a technician that can do that from time to time. I would say for manual wheelchairs, just depends on the usage. But for manual wheelchairs, you want to take it in from time to time to get the wheels checked, the bearings changed, and all that kind of stuff, so that you are moving smoothly. For power wheelchairs, there's not much maintenance unless something breaks down or goes kafooey. It doesn't happen often, as long as you have a good power wheelchair. But the power wheelchair needs to be checked at least once a year. Once or twice a year, tires, that kind of stuff, the batteries. The batteries, if you have lithium, they should last you a year to 3 years. Gel batteries are a little bit more finicky. I have gel batteries right now, and I don't like them. They probably gave me a lower quality type gel because I know that my 5th year is coming up. So every 5 years, you can take a look here in the United States of switching your wheelchair out for something new or different. So whether you're in a manual wheelchair or a power wheelchair, it's all about building skills and make you safe, confident, and independent. That's really important. Remember that practice makes progress in every little skill. adds freedom. It truly does. And it makes you safer by all means. There was one guy who came on here and asked how could he stop making holes in his walls. Trust me, I got on there really quick and made a video on how not to make holes in your walls or on your doors with your manual or power wheelchair. Sorry about that. All right. Well, if this video was helpful and insightful, give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to hear about more videos on this channel. I always put another one on. I'll probably put something like maintenance or something like that so that you can go to the next video and take a look at that. And we would love to have you back. And, I'm glad you found us because, where are you going to go to hear about these things, about manual wheelchairs and power wheelchairs, especially if you're new, you're getting into the market, or you just want to make sure that you've got all the skills, what skills that you need to practice. So that's really important. You can go back on this video to check and see what kind of skills you will need for the type of wheelchair that you get, or that you're planning on getting. So any questions, any concerns, please feel free to post it down below. And any skills you think that I missed that for you is really important for any wheelchair user to know, feel free to post it down below as well. This is a community, so we try to make lists and share our experiences in terms of, wheelchair use and skills, abilities, resources. Sometimes I post my own life experiences. So we do all that kind of stuff to help people, listen and grow in their skills and their ability, their security, their independence in their wheelchairs. All right, folks. So glad you found us. And I will certainly see you in the next one.